Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and welcome to my November 2025 garden tour. I'm going to be covering both my front yard and my backyard today. Things are getting all tucked in because we are expecting our first freeze tomorrow evening into the day after that. So 2 days. I have today and tomorrow to tuck things in and get all of my last minute preparations done. I have been working a little bit here and there all week because I had just so many perennials I wanted to transplant, divide, perennials that I had in pots. I still have 2 more that I'm like undecided on putting, but I have 2 days to get that done. But I'm finally ready to show y'all. For the most part, the garden is almost ready, and I'd love to show it to you before our first freeze hits. So I'd like to start off with, this is my new backyard garden. We put this in, 3 months ago, and I'm just so happy with how it is going. It's beyond my expectations so far. So let me start over here. This is pretty much a full sun area from over there all the way to here, and then back here is kind of a little bit more shady, part shade, and then back there is more shade. But the border of this garden is what I am so very pleased with. This is lemon coral sedum. Actually, I should say lemon ball sedum. Lemon coral sedum is Proven Winners. This is not Proven Winners. I got these at Callaway's, and I have had to replace one. This one was transplanted from my front yard, and so it looks slightly different, though I did get them at Callaway's last year. It's just, I think it's because it's a struggling plant. And then as little pieces have popped off, I've kind of started to fill in these little areas between, but look how well these are doing. And my experience so far with lemon ball sedum is that they stay evergreen for us during the winter. They kind of start looking a little bit like this. They get a little sad in the winter, but they pop right back in as spring comes. And I think they will do extremely well here in this border as long as what's planted behind them does not overtake them. I have Stella d'Oro daylilies behind them, and they are just going to be this beautiful pop of yellow in the springtime. And they are doing really, really well. Also, a new addition right there. What I had planted right there was not doing well at all. It is Paisley Pup Dog Hobble. I had gotten it from Proven Winners Direct when it was on sale. It is a shade shrub, evergreen. And let me show you where I transplanted it, but it's still struggling. This is the best of it right here. If you can see that beautiful variegated foliage, the new growth looks pink, but this plant is just definitely struggling. I thought it was just getting a little bit too much sun. It got more sun here in the fall than I anticipated. I'd watched it all summer and knew that this would be kind of a shady location, but with the position of the sun in the fall, this gets a little more sun right here than I anticipated. And so I split up my Gerbera daisy. I had a huge Gerbera daisy in my in a pot in my front patio, and I split it, and this was one of the pieces. And yeah, it's struggling just a little bit. It just got moved, I think, last weekend. So I expect it to struggle. It was divided into 3 sections, and one of the sections didn't make it. I'll show it to you in just a moment, but the main section is doing well. This section is doing pretty good. I think I see new growth. Yes, there's new growth right down there. So it's gonna be okay. I'm just hoping our freeze doesn't like pop that new growth and make it fry. So anyway, that's the Paisley Pup Dog Hobble. Hopefully it will be better suited back there in the shade. This is just a hydrangea macrophylla that I had propagated. We'll see how it does. This is fuchsia carpet. Let's see, hold on. Perfectamundo fuchsia carpet azalea from Proven Winners, and I hope that she's doing okay. There's tons of new growth right there. Everything in this little corner that I put here is struggling a little bit, and I think it's mainly because I put shade plants back here, although Perfectamundo Fuchsia Carpet should be able to take the part shade that it's getting with no problem whatsoever. It actually can take full sun, it says, but Texas full sun is different. Anyway, it shouldn't be struggling, so we'll have to keep an eye on this. It also should be blooming right now, which it isn't, which I kind of expect. It's a very young plant, and it was just transplanted not too long ago, and so there's that. And then this one also is on the struggle bus. Firelight Tidbit. Well, it looks like this big branch got a little bit broken. I'll tell you why in a moment. We were in this area yesterday doing some work. And then this is the third piece of the Gerber daisy that isn't going to make it, I'm afraid. Oh, but there's new growth right there. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Okay, that just means the foliage died back. So this particular piece of Gerbera daisy, when I split it into 3, for whatever reason, I thought it was 3 equal parts, but this part just kind of popped off of the main part. There was like 1 or 2 roots, and that was it. It just kind of popped off. It was more like a bulb than I thought. It wasn't super easily divided, I will say. The 2 pieces divided pretty well with good roots, but this one kind of popped off like it was attached to a bulb. And like I said, just 1 or 2 roots, and so I thought, oh, I cut all of the foliage off, and then and hi Chloe, you're being so distracting. Chloe, our backyard cat here, she joins me on all of my tours. But anyway, it looks like it might make it. That's really exciting. Although, you know, this is going to be tough. They are a zone 8 plant, so they are already marginal here in zone 8, and then the fact that it was just transplanted, divided, and struggling might kill it this winter, so we will see. This one is majorly on the struggle bus. This is Invincible Mini Mauvette. Not sure if that's going to make it or not, but it's hanging in there, so we shall see. And then let me back up to show you the glory that is my Japanese maple, Orangiola Japanese maple. And I just got around, I had kind of put the potting soil in here. I got it all leveled off, which was hard work, and then put the pot in there. All I needed to do was actually transplant it, and I just did that last night. And lo and behold, it's crooked now that it's transplanted. Of course, right? If you look, let me back up without stepping on anything. It doesn't look too bad, but it is definitely not. It's sticking that way a little bit. I gotta fix that. I'm probably gonna take that support, this support out. I have to take this floral tape off and then stick it back in, because I do think it's really easily like moved over to where it should be. But anyway, this is Orangiola. It's not quite showing me orange yet. It's getting this like beautiful burgundy. Look at that in the sun. Wow. This is a weeping Japanese magnolia, more of like, I think what they call a lace leaf. I'm far from an expert, you guys. And this is supposed to turn orange, which I love. But we will see. As we get into next month, maybe it will. But I also love the color of the bark too. It's like a nice red color. It's so pretty. But anyway, Orangiola Japanese maple. I think it will do well there, at least for a while, in that large container. And then I've got some Echinacea. This is Cheyenne Spirit Echinacea, and I have 3 of them. I have 1, 2, and 3. And 2 out of the 3 are just flowering away for me. They're so pretty. I love this color so much. And look, it's got some new blooms. Now the blooms are shorter because the nights are getting colder. This one struggled the most. But again, there's new growth down there. It's not flowering, but it's doing okay. Like I said, you know, transplanting is tough sometimes on some. And then this one, you could see Cheyenne Spirit just gives you a variety of color from like a pink to a red to a yellow to an orange. That's why I love Cheyenne Spirit so much. I was so happy to find 3 of them for this new garden. And then right over here is yarrow. This yarrow is Summer Pastels. I've got 2 of them. As you can see, one is doing a lot better than the other, but again, such a rock star plant. And then this is just, I had this in a container. I'm actually gonna pull this, y'all. I'm not a big fan a variegated Vinca Major anymore. And so I had variegated Vinca Major growing in the pot with it just to, you know, just because. But I'm not a big fan, so I'm going to take that out before it takes a lot of hold in this garden bed. But this is going to be a gorgeous yarrow next year. Took to the transplant amazingly well. And then this is a Sweet William grown from seed, Botanical Interest double Sweet William mix, and it is the most amazing Sweet William you will ever see. I do have one bloom on another one that I will show you, but in spring, oh my goodness, they will almost look like hydrangeas with mop head, beautiful pink variety of pink colors. And it's just going to be amazing. So I have them dotted all over the place. I can't wait to show you. And then over here I have Gerbera Daisy. This one struggled in that transplant, but is doing amazingly well. This is 100% new growth. There is another Gerbera Daisy over here and another Sweet William. So they kind of are a little bit matchy on either side. But then on this side, there's different, more full sun plants. So I have Veronica. The variety of Veronica was not labeled. I did a lot of research, and I think this is Roman Candles Veronica, especially seeing how long these stalks can get if you don't pull them. But it's putting on, like, look, can you see that new bud? It's amazing. I'm not gonna see that flower come because I think the freeze is gonna zap it. But oh, look how beautiful that. I'm so happy that I found one Veronica. It was the last one left and not labeled as far as which variety, but love it, love it. And then this is Texas Rock Rose. There are two of them there. And I love them. They have been so prolific. I know you can't see them right now, but they're still blooming. Those pink buds that you see are going to open up during the day today. And it's just really beautiful, like star-shaped flower. They do really well here in Texas. I believe they're a Texas native, and just a great plant for full sun or part sun. They can do part sun as well, which is why Veronica can do part sun, Texas Rock Rose can do part sun, and then Russian Sage, I think it can do part sun, but it does not love part sun. So this is Russian Sage. The variety is supposed to be Little Spires. I'm not 100% convinced that these two are both Little Spires Russian Sage. I'm not sure which is which, but the leaf shape is definitely different. This leaf is different than this leaf. So I think there are two different ones. Again, not labeled necessarily. One said Little Spires, but anyway, these are doing really well there. And here is my other pot on the other side. It's a matching container. I got them on sale. And in this one, I have Alexandrina Magnolia. It's upside down, but I got this tree for free from the Arbor Foundation, like partnered up with CoServe. They were giving away free trees like back in May. You just had to sign up online, and I finally got it about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, and it just got planted yesterday in that pot. But I think it's going to be really happy, and this will give me some absolutely beautiful pink tulip-like blooms in and those are all the buds. I'm showing you the buds on each of the branches, but that will give me beautiful pink blooms in the springtime. So very excited about that. And then this has far exceeded my expectations. This is one Gaillardia or blanket flower, and it took to the transplant like it was just so happy. It was so happy to be planted in the ground because it was in a pot before. And I just can't even believe it. It's making me so happy to see it thriving right here. It's just the most beautiful, like, flower of red with orange and yellow, and it mixes so beautifully with the Russian Sage. So moving on, right next to it, I have another Sweet William, and this is what I'm talking about. I did not expect this. I've never had Sweet William grown from seed in spring bloom in the fall. They usually like just have greenery the first year, and then the next spring they bloom. But this is what the blooms will look like, you guys. It's on It's on a little stick, because a support stick, because I just divided this in two. I did it to one of the other ones I showed you, and I just divided this literally like 30 minutes ago and brought it to my front yard, to my front garden. And so the divide was right here, and the flower stalk was, I know it's going to wilt. I know it's going to go away. So I wanted to support it to show you, but normally they are very well supported and they stay up on their own. But this is what I'm talking about. They look like little hydrangeas, and I love them so much, and I can't wait for so many of these in the springtime. And then back there is a Gatsby Pink oak leaf hydrangea, and it's doing well. It's getting a little bit of overhead water from the grass here, but I think it's going to do just fine. And it could be 6 to 8 feet by 6 to 8 feet, and so it's going to take up that entire back space. That's why it looks a little bare back there, but I think by the end of next year, y'all aren't even going to be able to see that there's an area behind the shed there, because it's going to be filled with Gatsby Pink, as long as the Gatsby Pink oak leaf does well, which I have another oak leaf I'm going to show you. It's done amazingly well, and so I think that one will as well. So that finishes up the new garden area. Let me bring you to my shade garden. I have Liriope that's kind of dotted all throughout. I have a Sea of Hearts Forget-Me-Not Brunnera that, I mean, the snails love to eat it, but it's a rock star and keeps giving me new growth, so that's amazing. Oop. And then I have 4 hostas that are planted in containers here, and they're going dormant. They don't look 100% their best, but I believe this is the Elegans Blue hosta. This is Ellabroic hosta. This one was definitely on the struggle bus. This one is Proven Winners Woo La La, Shadowland Woo La La. And then this is Proven Winners Shadowland, or Diamond Lake, yes. And then in between each of these is a shade plant that does really well in Texas. So the first is Giant Leopard Plant, and wow, it's just been a rock star for sure. And it did this to me last year too. They bloom in the fall. They give these really pretty yellow blooms, but mine are blooming in like mid to late fall. And so this is going to get zapped by the freeze. I'm so sad about that. The same thing happened last year. I'm not going to get to see those yellow blooms because it's going to get zapped by the freeze in a couple days. At least I'm pretty sure it will. Maybe if I cut it and put it inside in a vase of water, I'll be able to, I don't know. You guys let me know. Over here I have a autumn fern that literally was planted here in July in like the heat of summer, and took to the transplant like a champ and is growing like crazy. It was super tiny. I have a Hydrangea macrophylla there, one of my propagations, and this is my test to see if this Hydrangea macrophylla will bloom in complete shade, because you can see it gets a tiny bit of dappled sun in the morning, but that is it. It's very, very little sun, and I'm going to see if it blooms next year. And then this one is an autumn fern that has been here for 2 years. It has just been a rock star here in the shade and has probably quadrupled. I was going to divide this and possibly put some of it over here. Because it's getting more sun than I thought over there, I've double thought that. And then, yeah, I just love it right there anyway. So it's just going to stay, at least for this year, for sure. Now we'll move into the heart of the backyard garden. This is my backyard patio. These are the gardens that I have. This one is a full sun garden. And let me get back over here where my shadow is not in the way. I started this corner with a, let's see, double play Big Bang. Yeah, double play Big Bang Spirea. This is a Spirea that I didn't know this when I picked it up, but it has kind of a little bit of a weeping branching habit. Like the branches go down and all over the place, and I haven't decided if I love that. But yeah, in the late winter, the new foliage coming up will be this bright red, and then turn to an orange and a yellow, and then it'll have beautiful lighter pink flowers for me in late spring. So I love the Spirea. I don't know that I love the growth habit of the Big Bang Spirea. And then I have another Spirea in this corner, Wow, it's doing so well. This is candy corn spirea. So this is my absolute favorite spirea. Just a remarkable plant. What you're seeing is, the end of summer got a little crazy. We're going to prune that in early winter. So it has a nice mounding habit. We're going to do the same to that. We're going to prune this hard in mid to late winter before new growth starts. So new growth begins in late winter for these spirea. So I'll have to do that kind of mid to late. Anyway, it's just year-round interest. Beautiful shrub. I absolutely love it. There's Chloe coming through. And then another beautiful border plant. This is dwarf Ruellia, and this is the pink variety. It's still kind of putting on a little bit of blooms for me. Each bloom only lasts one day, but it is a pretty prolific bloomer. See, I've got buds that are gonna, they'll come out today. And new buds, those are probably going to get zapped by the freeze. But Ruellia is a wonderful part shade to full sun border plant. Semi-evergreen, but yeah, I do lose it in the cold of the winter, but it's just beautiful there. And then coming in, I have Summer Pastels Yarrow doing well. I have, this one is Mandarin Echinacea, what is it called? My favorite one. No, I'm sorry. Sun Seekers Orange by Monrovia. This is my favorite coneflower. This is my favorite echinacea. And I've trimmed some of it back, collected some seeds. That's probably my last bloom that I'll see. I have a white swan echinacea there. You could see a bloom popping through there. The echinaceas, the foliage especially, they're not looking fantastic this time of year. Some of the new foliage is better, but the old foliage is, it's eaten, first of all, most likely by my puppy. She loves the taste of echinacea, so she's kind of chewing on the leaves. I'm gonna have to break her of that. But anyway, I'll show you another Echinacea purpurea that it just looks terrible, but I'm leaving it up so that the birds can have the seeds. There's an Echinacea purpurea. Yeah, the birds have already kind of overtaken these seed heads. I could probably take this down and prune this back. Well, those seed heads are a little bit picked over, but anyway. And then here I have in a pot a limelight hydrangea that I've been training to be a standard. It kind of fried a little bit and then got some new growth, as you can see right there. And then underneath it, oh gosh, I had some Scaevola that did beautifully, although only one out of, how many did I get? 1 out of 3 survived. And I also had Scaevola in this pot too, and none of them survived, but I did place this one in part shade, so that's probably why. And then I have Dichondra, white cascading vinca, so those are still doing really well. Let's see, let's come around. I have some alyssum planted here that is so funny. It just kind of plopped itself onto my patio and started blooming, so that's beautiful. I have a pot right here. I don't want to get into the explanation, but anyway, it has Dichondra and white vinca there and a little bit of dianthus that survived from the winter. Like, I popped out the dianthus to put in the summer plants, and somehow a seed started growing, and that's what this is right here. It's so interesting. I have a container right here full of black-eyed Susan vine. Look at that, you guys. It has a trellis in it, which is actually an upside down tomato cage that I put into a trellis. And black-eyed Susan vine loves fall time here in Texas. It's been growing all season long, and now it's blooming like crazy. I'm also collecting a lot of seeds. Here's a seed pod. So these things mature and you can collect the seeds from those. I've also got it growing all along my back fence, and I did not plant it there. It grew last year and then just kind of really seeded itself into this garden space all through the gardens. I've been picking it out all summer because I don't want it choking my plants over here, but it just has been that way. So anyway, I've got Confederate Star Jasmine also climbing all along this fence. The vine survived the winter last year, so it has gone crazy this year, doing really well. Echinacea purpurea, this is the one that I'm like, oh, the seed heads are almost all picked through. And so I think I will go ahead and prune this back. Over here, I have a powwow echinacea here and another powwow echinacea here. They're really cute pink. You can see that. That's the last powwow bloom right there. I have a hollyhock that was grown from seed. You see that right there? I'm excited to see what that looks like against that fence next spring. And then there is a ground cover that you see all over, and it's called Plumbago ceratostigma. It has the most beautiful purple blooms, and it has just covered this entire bed, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. One of my favorite ground covers. Now, the word plumbago, people think that is an annual here in Texas. It's not the same as the annual plumbago that you see. This is hardy plumbago, and it has the most beautiful blue flowers. None of those are still on, and it's supposed to it's deciduous. It's supposed to turn red in the fall, and I just have not seen that happen last year, and I'm hoping now that it's prolific here that I'll be able to see. If it does that here in Texas, I will let you know, but so far it has not turned red before the leaves fall off. We'll find out, I guess, after the freeze, huh? I don't know. I have a blanket flower that was transplanted here. I don't know if that's going to survive. It's not looking great, as you can see, but there is still a bloom back there. So, I might just cut that back and then see if there's new growth, but we'll have to see. What else is over here? There is a peony. One of you suggested that I kind of dig a little bit around that peony stalk to make sure the bulb isn't planted too deeply. It's been in the ground for 3 years and has not bloomed for me, so I am going to try to do that. Oh, yes, that's right. I had Queen Lime Zinnia mix planted here, and so there's one of the last blooms from those. Actually, look, that's a new bud. Wow, that's going to get zapped for sure, though. So I've collected some seeds from that. I do enjoy the Queen Lime Zinnias for sure. Oh, here's another one. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? So pretty. I love the shape of these flowers, almost dahlia-like. So I definitely will grow these again. I always like to experiment with different kinds of zinnias for sure. Over here, gosh, there is a trellis there. It's been overtaken by black-eyed Susan vine and Confederate star jasmine, but there also is 2 different varieties of clematis growing here, and I can see one of them right here. This one struggled. See if I can get any more. I don't know. I don't know if this one survived. No, there's some more right there. That's the clematis. Yeah, it's a blue sapphire indigo clematis. Really, really pretty. And then there's also a Jackmani in there. There's a rosemary planted there, doing well. And then there's a Texas sage. I think I might lose it. I'm leaving it as is. You could see that it's totally defoliating in the middle there. And I am tempted to prune that back and wait to see what happens next year. However, someone had suggested that I leave that foliage on because, you know, if I prune it and the winter zaps it a little bit, then it's not going to do well. But if I leave that there, then the winter might zap this, which is going to be okay. Then I can prune it in late winter and see what happens. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Coming over here is there's my sunshine ligustrum. I tree formed it massively. This is like an 8 or 9 foot tall sunshine ligustrum, and it just kind of overtook this entire space. So this space doesn't look amazing because the sunshine ligustrum was literally everywhere, like all the way over here. I pruned it heavily a few weeks ago, and you can see like it's trying to grow back. I'm trying to pop these off as I see them, but they'll get, all that is new growth that will probably get zapped anyway in the freeze. And then around here, this is coleus that will not make it through the freeze, but I also have a limelight hydrangea here. It was an experiment to see if the limelight would grow in part shade/shade. And yes, it does. And I did get 2 blooms. It just doesn't thrive in that condition for sure. And I have 2 Echinacea purpurea there. Again, they don't thrive in this part shade/shade. So there's that. I had a Mexican sunflower planted there that I pulled up this week. A little bit messy down there for sure. Let's get down there though. And then against this, the vine that I have growing here is coral honeysuckle. And I have a volunteer, which I was afraid that this was poison ivy, but nope, it's purple hyacinth bean that reseeded itself from last year. I know now because of these beautiful blooms that are coming out. Look at that. Oh, they're so pretty. So I'm kind of glad I had a volunteer of the purple hyacinth bean. And then that is a Mexican sunflower that's reaching from over there all the way over there and then blooming over there. So interesting. Goodness, I'm gonna pull the other Mexican sunflower out that's planted there probably today. The butterflies and the bees have just loved it so much that I couldn't bring myself to pull all of it. So I left this one, and yeah, today it's coming out because it's gonna die anyway in the freeze. Coming over here, I have a Russian sage in a pot because I didn't have room for it. So it's doing beautifully. Look at that. And those Russian sage blooms with the Mexican sunflower just look gorgeous. Right here, this I have decided is now going to be the Limelight hydrangea location in containers. I've just always had great success propagating Limelight hydrangeas in this container. That's why you see part of this is empty, because I had cuttings from late winter, popped them in soil, leave them all winter, or leave them all season long. They grow roots and they grow me new plants, new Limelight hydrangeas. So that's exactly what you see here. I just a couple days ago, hey, get out of there. Just a couple days ago, I pulled up I think I had 3 that were rooted, and I pulled those up. This one was rooted last year. This is actually a little lime hydrangea, if you can believe it. I kind of can't believe that. And then this is one that grew this year, so that will be a brand new plant. It even flowered for me very first year from a cutting. So there's that. And then here's 2 of them in this container. Just because they were rooted so closely together, I was able to pull it up as one big clump and put it here. So yeah, this one didn't flower, but still is doing amazing. So those will be really happy right here. I just have found this particular location it does really well. And surprisingly, it is kind of dappled shade in the morning and then full sun in the afternoon. It's just kind of strange, but that's what it is. I do have one little thing growing right here that I think might be Tangerine Beauty Crossvine. I'm gonna see. If you guys think it's something different, let me know. But I have my Tangerine Beauty Crossvine growing right here, and I have not been able to propagate it, neither by seed from seed pods or by cutting. And I saw this little guy, and I thought the leaves are similar. They're just less mature. And so I thought it might be a baby Tangerine Crossvine. So I'm leaving it there. I want to see what that does. But Tangerine Beauty Crossvine, perennial vine, native here in Texas, and also very, very, very Texas stuff. Tough. It's a Texas superstar plant, and I highly recommend it. It's just the most glorious plant, especially in the spring when it gives you a whole wall of these beautiful blooms. It blooms sporadically the rest of the season. It will stay evergreen, although it will turn a little bit of a purplish color. It's already starting to turn dark green, but this foliage will take on a very purplish hue in the winter, and it's just a magnificent vine. Beautiful, beautiful vine. And then let me show you my part shade/shade garden. Actually, before I take you back there, I just wanted to point out 2 pots that are here. This one has foxtail fern and Confederate star jasmine that grows up that pole. The Confederate star jasmine will be fine surviving the winter, but this foxtail fern will not. I also put in Tradescantia zebrina cuttings, so I thought those looked really pretty there. And then over here is a total experiment. This is a brand new plant for 2026. This is a new type of hydrangea called a cascading hydrangea. I'm so excited about this. This particular one is the Fairy Trail Fresco from Proven Winners, and it will bloom blue or pink depending on soil acidity. And I popped this in this container. If this does well, and if this is truly cascading like it's supposed to be, I will probably put these in large pots and hang them in my hanging baskets. As you can see, those are dead fuchsia that I still have not taken out. I have been on the search for shade plants that will do well in containers up there, and I just have not found any. That I thought about putting autumn fern up there. I want it to be like a perennial thing where I don't have to replant every year. But if Fairy Trail Fresco does well in this location, then I know it will probably do well up there as well. And so but it needs definitely a much bigger hanging basket than that, which I have found some that I like that I will purchase. But first, I'm gonna just see how it grows next year. I don't even know if I'll like it. So yeah, growing it here, and we'll see what happens. Super excited about that. And now let me show you my part shade garden, which does not get as worked on as much. So just grant me a little bit of grace here because I'm trying my best. And this also is more of my like experimental area. And it doesn't look the best. I'll just admit that. First, I have a foxglove that I grew from seed. Only one survived from winter sowing, but I plopped it here and it has done really well. I should get blooms next year. It was not a specific variety of foxglove. The seed packet was a inexpensive seed packet that someone gave me, and so no idea what variety this is, but super happy to see this. I also have amaryllis. They love part sun / full sun, but my neighbor has told me they're not getting enough sun. They're not that happy, but that's okay. This one is Rapido amaryllis, but I have other varieties planted this year of pink amaryllis, like a white pink. The Rapido is red, and I have several of them over here. I had canna lilies growing back here that I just took out, and I saw a couple of baby amaryllis mixed in with the cannas. I see I missed one, and another one right there, but and another canna. They just, unless you get the actual bulbs and tubers, every single last one of them, they will just continue to grow, and that's okay. I don't love them, but anyway. Peony. This is another one that maybe here with you guys. I did a lot of research before I planted this. See, it is not too deep. It's literally like right there. So maybe it's not planted deep enough, and that's why it's doing that. I don't know, y'all. It's definitely not planted too deep because it's almost right there at the surface, and it's still, maybe next year is going to be the year. You see that growth? That was pretty cool. So cover that, and we'll just hope for the best. I have right here is Greg's Mist Flower. Does not love part sun, y'all, but it still goes, and it tries to be like a ground cover. I had zinnias that I should pull up right there. They were volunteer this year. Here is Scabiosa that I just transplanted last week. The blooms didn't survive, but it's still doing pretty well. I have a boxwood there, and I have some peach daylilies there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these back just a little bit because the foliage is just laying flat. I have amaryllis behind it. Some new daylilies that I picked up from bulb and planted this spring on either side, so I'm excited to see. I don't even remember what color they are, but this big one is definitely a peach. This was just planted yesterday, so forgive me, but this is my Mystic Spires Blue Salvia that I had planted in 2 curbside containers in my front, and I did not want them to stay in those containers because I had plans for them. I planted them up yesterday, but I didn't want to get rid of them either. They survived over last winter. They are a zone 8 plant. In a container they survived for me, which is really surprising. But I had 2 of them. One of them went here and one of them went to my neighbor Aida. She's going to plant it in full sun. I am going to experiment and plant it in part shade. So we shall see how this does. I know it looks rough because it's day 2 of after transplant. I had to cut it all back. It was full of blooms, and y'all, oh, my heart was broken. Yesterday morning, I had already taken this out the night before and transplanted it, but yesterday morning I was popping in the pansies that in the same container, and the bees were all over the place looking for this salvia. The pollinators just absolutely love this plant. It was still blooming prolifically, doing amazing. I just felt so bad, but it had to be done. It had to be done. I needed to get them out, and if the bees can find it, there are still some blooms back here, but they sure were sad yesterday looking for it. I felt terrible. And if you're wondering, I know it's kind of overtaking this hydrangea right now, but next year this will not come back as big. I will prune this pretty far down to the ground when the foliage dies off, and then next year it hopefully will survive the winter and grow back, and then it will be a lot smaller, I think, of a plant because it's not getting as much sun as the curbside container. So it won't overtake this hydrangea next year is what I'm anticipating. But here is where it starts full shade, and so this is hydrangea macrophylla, and I have 6 of them going all through here in pretty much dappled shade all day long. They're doing okay. Actually, they're doing pretty well. I really have struggled with chlorosis with these guys, but this year I feel like I've gotten a handle on it. This flower bed is only, 2 years old. So this is all original like clay soil that I have amended, but it takes a while for this soil to get, going. And so the hydrangea struggled with chlorosis as a result, but now more and more adding compost, soil acidifier, chelated iron, all of the things, it has really helped them. I also have a couple coral bells. I think that one is caramel coral bell, and this one is obsidian, and this one is Georgia peach. I had 2 others that didn't make it this year. They were planted over there, and so that's just how it goes. Coral bells are a little bit difficult to grow, and I thought I had figured it out planting them on a slope, but those 2 definitely didn't make it. So anyway, it's just how it goes. That begonia is not going to survive. Although last year I had 2 begonias come back, y'all. That was crazy. Starting over here is a more part shade area, and amazingly this is, hang on, this is a begonia, and this is my pink Turk's cap. Okay, so the pink blooms are the begonia. No, wait, yes. Wow, that begonia did really, really well here in this part shade location. But pink Turk's cap, it was flowering up until about a week ago. Honestly, it's done really, really well here. And coming over here, this is my other oak leaf hydrangea. This is a dwarf Alice in Wonderland oak leaf hydrangea that's only supposed to get 5 foot tall by 5 foot wide. And I am 5 foot tall, and it's a couple feet taller than I am. So maybe it was mislabeled. I don't know. This is definitely bigger than it's supposed to get, but can't wait to see the fall colors that this will bring. I don't think this counts. I think this is a diseased leaf. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit of that fall color that's starting. It's absolutely beautiful. Now I can see it out of my kitchen window, so I'll be able to see the fall color outside the kitchen window, which will be spectacular. And there you have it. So I love that oak leaf in that location. It just does so well in that part sun location. And it gets midday sun. So it's a great hydrangea. And let me show you my plumeria before they go in. This is my plumeria. It's beautiful, and I'm debating. So this freeze that's coming up is only supposed to be for a few hours. We're supposed to get down to 29 But again, like it's going to warm up that day. And then for 2 weeks straight on the forecast, our lows are in the 50s again and highs all the way up into the 80s, which plumeria love. So I'm debating on just kind of taking this inside for, overnight, Sunday into Monday, and then putting it back after it gets above 40 degrees or so on Monday. I totally could do that, and then it'll be happy for a couple more weeks, which I think I am going to do. The alternate to that is go ahead and winterize it. And my plan for winterizing it is to cut off all the leaves. I guess you're supposed to leave like part of the stalks or the stems when you cut the leaves off. So I'll cut them about here. Cut all of those off and then just bring it inside. It's going into my daughter Bailey's room. She's in the Navy and lives in Hawaii. So anyway, I can use her room now for overwintering plants, which is really cool. But anyway, I will do that when I winterize it. I just don't see the purpose of putting it in at this point because it still could have a couple more weeks of growth, being warm again. And the same with this plumeria. This is a smaller one. It is planted in a pot right there. And I think I'm just going to bring them in overnight and then put them back. Look, they're still blooming. Look at that. It's amazing. I think this one has a couple of blooms too. There's a couple of blooms. Anyway, there's my plumeria, and that's my plan. So this concludes my backyard garden. Let me show you guys my front yard. All right, so heading out my front door, here is my porch, which, we're going to bring a lot of these inside. They're just going to stay inside for the winter. Coleus, begonias, foxtail fern. I'm not bringing this inside. It's just going to die. Carex is going to stay here because it is a perennial. That is one thing I have to do. I need to plant it in a bigger pot. It will be happier that way. Kalanchoe. I don't think those survive hard freezes, so that's going to go in. It's so pretty. This was given to me by Leanne, the preschool director at our church. Her granddaughter also goes to my daycare, and she gave that to me. It's just so pretty. This I think is called lace leaf fern. Absolutely beautiful. It's been very slow growing, but it's super happy right now. And I do think it is not frost hardy, so I will take that in. I don't think it's going to be messy, which is great. Abijuga, I was going to plant it, but then I thought about it, and I'm just not sure, and so the ajuga is going to stay there. The coleus is coming in. This is my favorite coleus. This is called Coloca Rose by Baker's Creek. I grew this from seed. It was not easy to grow from seed, but the one plant that I did get from it is just outstanding. It's so beautiful. It's my favorite coleus. And so that's going to come in with me. I have a begonia down there that will die. I have a coral bell that I just could not decide where to put it. I think I'm going to keep it out front here. I think I'm going to put it in a pot and keep it here, like a good pot. And then this, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. This is Liriope, and then it has a really cute little mini hosta. I just love them together in a pot, and so I'll get a better pot for that. I think I'm just going to keep it out here in this planter. We'll see how they do. I think they'll do fine. And then coming back around, woohoo! These are my prized hydrangeas. This variegated leaf is a variegated lace cap hydrangea, and I just love these so much. Now that we're getting cold, the variegation is turning pink. It's outstanding, so beautiful. And then this one is almost all white. It's just, I just love the foliage of this plant. Probably my favorite foliage plant that I have. And then this is an endless summer hydrangea. And this is a fairly new bloom. It blooms all summer long, sporadically I would say, but then these are the older blooms from the spring that I have allowed to stay on the plant. And I've been saying this all year, that if you leave your hydrangea blooms on the plant, at least here in Texas, in North Texas, and if they don't fry, because that also could happen, but if they don't fry, they turn this beautiful magenta color, and they look so gorgeous in the fall. I just absolutely love it. Oh, here's some more of that foliage. Isn't that beautiful? The fall foliage. I just love it so much. Coming over here, okay, this has to come in too. Tradescantia zebrina is a house plant that I bring, and this is an actual plant stand that it's placed in, though you cannot see it because it goes crazy in this location. It just loves this location here on my front porch, but that's gonna have to come in. I do not want to sacrifice that plant. And then down below is English ivy. It will be evergreen during the winter time. It can survive very harsh temperatures and evergreen as well. So that will stay. Right over here is my Gerbera daisy. I told you all that I divided a very massive Gerbera daisy. It was this one. It was so massive you couldn't see the pot. And so this is the biggest portion that I was able to pull from it. I did not cut off the leaves. It still did pretty well, and it has tons of new growth, which I'm going to try to cover this either with frost cloth that I have or a big pot or something like that. I don't want that new growth to get damaged. I don't want the new transplant to get damaged in there. So that's what I'm going to do. And then this is my let's see, Encore Azalea Autumn Sunset, I believe. It is blooming. Not as prolifically as I thought it might, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. Let me see if it has any other buds. I think that might be it. I don't see any other. Oh, there's a bud. So a little bit more. There's a couple there. A little bit more buds to go, and there's one down there, but really does great there. And then another container that has that English ivy up a cone shaped topiary, so that's fun. That will be evergreen. Over here in this container, you guys have not seen this yet, I don't think, but I picked this up at HEB. This is Celosia Dracula Red, and oh my goodness, it is such a cool fall plant. Look at that, the foliage and like that brain coral. It was perfect for Halloween kind of, because this one's a little wet, because it looks like blood and brains, right? But it's so beautiful. I don't think it will survive the freeze. Yeah, it is an annual, summer to frost. So we're gonna get our frost. Maybe I'll cover that so I can enjoy it for a couple more weeks. Who knows? It is planted with some sweet potato vine. This will get zapped for sure, and I'm okay with that. And then I have some snapdragons in here with some yellow mums and some creeping Jenny that has been in here since the spring. The creeping Jenny has creeped into my garden, which I'm totally fine with. I hope that it roots and does well. And then I have this pot that had, this is dew plant. Yes, I think this is the dew plant. And I'm told that dew plant will overwinter in zone 8. So that'll be exciting. Oh wait, actually no, I don't think it's the dew plant. I think it's the ice plant. This one is ice plant, and it's the ice plant that I believe will overwinter. I don't think the dew plant will. And then this is portulaca, and what is this one? I had 4 different types of these heat tolerant succulents in there. Oh, this one is porcelain, that one is portulaca. So we'll see how these do. I'm not going to do anything to them. If they die, they die. But if the ice plant sticks around, then I will be happy. All right, so coming into the front garden, this looks completely different than it did a week ago. Last week, I took out almost everything, and then realized that some things had not survived and blah blah blah. But anyway, I'll pop a picture on the screen for you guys. I had gomphrena, I had zinnias, I had dwarf zinnias lining this border. It is all taken out, and I've put some pansies and snapdragons in its place. So let's go over that. So right here in this front, and I have not mulched this bed yet. That's another thing that I want to do today is mulch. I got all of the mulch that I needed, but anyway, these are matrix pansies. The variety is Matrix Jewels Mix. All of these are considered what they call clear pansies. They don't have like the black centers that other pansies tend to have, and I kind of wanted that for a change. So they look like that with these yellow centers. Just absolutely beautiful. I didn't want the purples, so I took out this like raspberry color and this dark purple color. All I wanted was the blues and the oranges and the yellows, and I love that. And I have 2 rows of them this year. Last year I did Dusty Miller behind, and I'm not going to do that this year. This year I did 2 rows. This first row, they are all planted in terracotta pots. It is a little trick of mine because I have discovered that I have moles, and the moles like to make their tunnels along this front border. Therefore, the flowers that I plant in the front border have a really hard time. Now, I know I could try to eradicate the moles, and I have tried, and my husband and I have tried, and nothing works. So I discovered this terracotta pot method. The terracotta absorbs the moisture from the soil, and so it does extremely well for keeping these guys alive. And so those, yeah, it's so great. And then back behind it, let's see, I have a container there that has plumbago. That's going to come out, and I haven't decided what's going to go in its place yet. And planted all around it is Maynite salvia. And so I cut that back a little bit, cleaned that up. I just planted this Rudbeckia. I lost my Rudbeckia. I lose my Rudbeckia every single year, but this one was on clearance for $4. And so my neighbor picked that up for me. And then right here, this was just transplanted here this morning as well. This is Sweet William that I grew from seed, that botanical interest that I showed you before. And then I have a peach daylily here. Another note is, I don't know if you see this, but there are daffodils coming up already. I have daffodils planted kind of all throughout this bed, but especially around this bird feeder, and I see the daffs. The daffs are coming up. They're going to get mulched over. They're going to be fine. They can survive through the winter like that, but they're already getting ready, which is so crazy that it knows that. And then another Sweet William here. Again, I divided them today and transplanted them. And then another Rudbeckia and another peach colored daylily. And then behind those, I've never grown these before, but they are snapdragons, and my neighbor grew these in her garden last year, and they just did so well through the winter, and they look so beautiful in the spring. So she picked up a flat of these for me for my birthday. She's so sweet, and I decided all the colors is what I told her. They're yellows and pinks and dark purples, I think. And so I have a whole row of those snapdragons going on back there. And then kind of behind them, there is an echinacea there. This is the mandarin one that I thought the other one was. Let me see. Yeah, double scoop mandarin is what this coneflower is. And again, they were taken over. These are new, planted this year in early summer, and so they struggled anyway. And then being overtaken by the gomphrine and zinnias, I thought I was going to lose them, but I didn't. They're coming back. There's another daylily there that is a red variety. I don't remember the name. And then another double scoop mandarin echinacea there. So there you go. That is the full sun portion. Of course, Sunshine Ligustrum hedge, absolutely beautiful. We cut that back pretty heavily a couple weeks ago so that it could have time to recuperate before the freeze. So I think that will be good. And then over here is what it doesn't look like it right now. It gets morning sun and afternoon shade. So this is a part shade location of the front garden. So the plants here have to be different because full sun plants will not survive here. It is shaded by a Vitex tree. Obviously, this is a full sun tree. There's like one bloom left on the Vitex. There you go. And then underneath the Vitex tree, I have a ground cover. It is variegated Vinca major. It will give me some beautiful blue flowers in the spring, late winter, spring. But yeah, it's kind of taken over Lambo, and then it's also taken over my Burgundy Glow Juga, which I don't love. So I still need to come in here, get it away from the Burgundy Glow, because I'm seeing that the Burgundy Glow Juga is kind of dying back a little bit. It used to be all over right here, and it's doing okay there, but I need to get the other ground cover out of there and open that up for it so that it can continue to do okay. And I had a coral bell here. It did not survive. So there's that. And then behind that is my beautiful hydrangea, endless summer hydrangea. This one planted in the ground. Some of these blooms fried, and that's okay. And some of them, let's see, like this one is turning that beautiful pink magenta color. And then this one is even a new one. This one will get zapped in the freeze. That's okay though. But it just loves it. Oh, and here's even a new bud. Just an amazing hydrangea. We can grow hydrangea macrophylla here in North Texas. There are so many people that say that we can't, but yes, we can. And I don't do anything to this, y'all. This one in particular, planted in the ground, does the best out of all of mine, and it needs soil acidifier, iron ketone a little bit, but not much. It just loves its life here, and it's because it's planted in the right location. It gets enough sun in the morning to make it through, and then this one even gets a little bit of evening sun, but because it's like late evening sun, it doesn't mind it too much. Like this bloom gets zapped with the afternoon sun, but this is a newer one that is not zapped because it's cooler in the evenings, and so it's an absolutely beautiful plant. But if you want to know all of my tips and tricks on how to take care of hydrangea macrophylla here in our hot North Texas climate, I do have a video that you can watch full of great tips, and go ahead and click on that. I'll put it in the upper right corner for you guys to watch that. But you can grow something like that, I promise. It's beautiful. I love it. And then I just want to point out this beauty over here. First, we've got Carolina Sapphire Cypress that is growing in a container here. I need to prune that up. I just pruned it, but it's really loving life here in the fall and growing a lot right now. So I need to prune that back a little bit, but it's doing fantastic, and it will overwinter and be evergreen. So it's a great pop of evergreen color. Underneath it, I have variegated Liriope. And then right up there, oh, that is black-eyed Susan vine, just blooming its little head off. I did not plant it here this year. It was planted last year. Like I said, they reseed heavily. I feel like I also collected tons and tons of seeds last year. I thought I collected most of them, but obviously not. It's done so well this year with no effort whatsoever. I have not trained this. I have not done anything to this. It has wrapped itself all the way around. So this is what we see coming out our front door. Isn't that gorgeous? It also looks really beautiful with that Tradescantia zebrina. But anyway, I do love it, but the problem is we have a security camera up there, and if we want to keep that security camera clear, then we have to go probably every week and cut that back. And I can't reach it, so that's something my husband needs to do, but it's really beautiful. And then we just have a hedge of baby gem boxwoods that have been in there. That's a volunteer vinca from last year, but they're doing really, really well right there as well. One last peek at my porch. Okay, so the grass is starting to go dormant. You see my puppy. Say hi. Hi, baby. Hi, Gummy. Anyway, the grass is Palisades zoysia. My husband takes care of that, and he does a fabulous job, but it is starting to go dormant. He's going to do one last mow, I think, for the season, you think?
As soon as you stop recording, yes.
Yeah, one last mow as soon as he's waiting for me to be done recording. But anyway, he does a great job with our grass. It's just awesome. And then, lastly, is these curbside containers. They used to have Mystic Spire Dyer's Blue Salvia. Like I told you before, I pulled those, transplanted them, and then I popped in another variety of Matrix pansies. This is Matrix Blue. It's just your general Matrix Blue. I only had one tag. Here it is. Matrix Blue with blotch. It's just your typical blue pansy with the blotch in the center, and I think they're a beautiful color, really beautiful color. And what I will do, I have tulips in the refrigerator right now. It's a variety of yellows and pinks and reds, and they are going to get popped in there the first week of January to mix with the pansies. So I'm super excited about that. It'll be the first time that I've mixed pansies and tulips together. So really, really looking forward to that. And that is it, y'all. This concludes the November 2025 All Garden Tour. This is going to look much different probably next week after the freeze, and I totally understand that, but I wanted to capture it for you before our first freeze, and we'll see what it looks like in December, so stay tuned. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment down below, let me know what you think, and let me know what you're growing this fall, and just thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting my channel. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.